Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Michael's Corner. Um, Before I bring in my guest for this evening, Cody O'Neill, I gotta give a shout out to a couple of people. Um, First is I want to give a shout out to the Asylum Wrestling Store. These guys work diligently hard, and whatnot. And they do their virtual meets and greets, every month. Um, you guys can follow the Asylum Wrestling Store on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And finally, I want to give a shout out to my friends at the Indie Talk with Jesse and Jaron. Oh my God. I love those guys. I was part of their show not too long ago. So you guys can follow Indie Indie Talk on social media, Facebook, Facebook, Instagram, and I believe Twitter, but I'm not for sure. So be sure to follow Russell Talk on social media. They do great interviews as well. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time. I want to bring in my guest, Kenny, I mean, Cody O'Neill. I can't wait to hear his story of how he got his start in wrestling. So let's bring him on. Hi,
Hey Michael, how are you, buddy?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, especially after being in the ring after 5 years out of it. Doing pretty good, my
Mhm.
man.
That's good. It's the first time seeing your face because the last time I saw you wrestle in person, it was, gosh, I think it was at that old MEW show, I believe.
We're me, my brother, and Aaron Corbin took on Demolition, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I remember that show. I
yes,
remember you there. Yep.
I remember all too well. Mhm. So yeah, oh my God, I just miss Minnesota Extreme Wrestling because Kurt Oderholt put on some good shows,
Yep.
really good shows. I was his assistant. Um, I was his assistant. He wanted me to film the wrestling action and post it on my YouTube channel. And I will go back to his place, and we'll discuss the matches and whatnot.
Cool.
So, um, let's not waste any time. Let's start out because I have some questions to ask you. Um, First off, how did you get your start in wrestling?
Um, Probably like anybody else, I was a fan when I was a kid. Um, my my twin brother and I got into got into watching wrestling with my grandpa back in the day, old AWA stuff. He would take us to shows down at the St. Paul Civic Center, so um, I kind of got into it that way, and funny story about when my brother and I first got into high school wrestling, high school, amateur wrestling. Our parents asked us if we wanted to wrestle in fourth grade. Now, us being 9-year olds, we were like, yeah, yeah, we want to wrestle. So we got into wrestling, and the first day we went into the gym, and there's a wrestling mat on the floor. And I don't know if he thought this, but I'm looking around. I'm like, where are the turnbuckles? Where's the ring at? So that's originally why we got into high school style wrestling. But being in high school wrestling definitely helped in professional wrestling. So yeah, that's how I kind of got into wrestling. And as far as getting my start in professional wrestling, Aaron Corbin and Shimdog and Gator McGraw all went to a local show here in Owatonna, and whose show was it? I think it was a Terry Fox show, and I'm not sure. I don't know if Sheriff and Shifty were there from MPW, but they ended up getting a tryout scheduled for us guys. So we went up to MPW training camp and tried out, and ended up getting accepted into the Midwest Pro Wrestling camp. So that's kind of how I got my start there. Yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting story. So so when you started out wrestling and whatnot, what made you decide to retire from pro wrestling the first time?
Um, just the schedule, having a full time job, and wanting to stay home and hang out with my son and my wife. I just missed them when I was out on the road, and also that my body is my back, my knees, my hips, my shoulders are all kind of. I'd love to be back full time. That would be fun to wrestle. To go out and wrestle every other weekend or whatever. But that's not for me. I love hanging out with my wife. My son's 16 now, which that went by quick because I was still wrestling probably every weekend when he was born. Still, sometimes twice a weekend
Hmm.
when he was a baby. But we moved out of the metro, which a lot of shows. It's easy to be a professional wrestler when you're in the metro area, but when you're outstate a little bit, traveling kind of stinks. So, um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'm having fun living my life.
Hmm. So let's talk about we talked about this last night that you posted a photo of your son on Facebook saying that it was his first day of school and whatnot. And I comment on, oh, he looked like a wrestler. And I said, is he starting to wrestle or anything?
um,
And
so yeah, like we kind of started to talk about a little bit on that picture. Um, he wrestled from when he was 4 or 5 through um, through when he was 14. He took the last couple of years off, and he tells me that he's going to go back to wrestling now again this year. So, which makes Dad happy. But if he doesn't want to wrestle, he doesn't want to wrestle. But my passion for amateur or high school style wrestling or freestyle wrestling, Olympic style wrestling is just the same as my passion for professional wrestling. I absolutely love. I mean, right now I'm wearing a Minnesota U of M wrestling sweatshirt. I love wrestling through and through. So um, he won't be a professional wrestler like we started talking about last night. He's got more brains than his dad does, so he doesn't need to wrestle. He wants right now. He's thinking he wants to pursue a career in engineering. So Um,
That, that's good.
yeah, yeah, he's a
Yeah,
smart kid, man. I was never able to pull a 4.0 or be on the A honor roll, and he is a junior in high school, and he's never not been on the A honor roll. So he's a good kid, man. My wife and I are very lucky, lucky parents to have him as our son. So, yep.
that's wonderful.
Hmm.
Um, so let's go back to to wrestling related stuff. Not too long ago, you got back in the ring with MAW.
Hmm.
So my question to you is, how does it feel after being away for a few years? How does it feel to get back into that ring? Was you feeling a little rusty, or did you did you say to yourself, "Oh, am I ready to get back in the ring?" Because it's been 5 years since you've been back in the ring.
Right, that's a good question, man. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It sounds cliche, but it's like riding a bike, and I'd be a liar to say if I said I wasn't a little worried about it leading up to that match. But I'm glad I got to work Aaron Corbin, who I trained him to be in the business. So what better person to work than the guy that you trained? And I think he and I have had probably over 250 matches, I'm guessing.
Wow.
Wrestled in 5 different states. He and I have. So, what a guy to to make a comeback match against when it's been 5 years. None other than the guy that you trained and the guy that other than Eric Cannon, he's the guy that I've wrestled the most. So it was
Mhm.
fun, man. It was fun. I was a little sore. That was a Tuesday night that we worked, and I was a little sore on Wednesday, but Thursday I was pretty darn tender. But I texted him. He caught me with a kick, and I texted him on Wednesday morning that I think he straightened my nose out from the last time I broke it before that because I could actually breathe a little bit better on Wednesday morning. So that was nice. Yep.
Yeah. Um, um, what I like about Aaron Corbin is he's a great dude. He's a great guy. Um, I always go to him if I.
Well, my dogs are excited. My kiddo's home. So here, hold on just a second.
All right.
I'll go in my wife's office here. All right, now we're good. Go ahead.
So as I was saying, oh yeah, Aaron Corbin's a great guy. Um, he's the one I go to, like, if I have any problems or any issues with a wrestler, he's the guy to go to. He makes me feel, oh my God, I wish he was on here tonight, that so he can hear this. But he always give me some great advice. I tell you, you know, he always looks out for me when I'm at wrestling shows, especially at one of Kurt's shows at the time. Always looked out for me, and because I'm just a wrestling fan, I'm a wrestling fan. He's just one of those guys that, and I still go to him for some advice, because he's partially responsible for me doing these interviews and whatnot. And without his help, as well as Kurt Otterhall's help, without those guys' help, I don't think I'll be doing this,
Right.
doing this right now. So I just gotta thank those guys. Kurt, rest in peace. But thank you for going on his way to make sure that I have a job in the wrestling business. And I've been in the wrestling business for about 9 years. 9 years now. So,
Goes by quick, doesn't it?
huh?
Goes by quick, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I've done stuff for the wrestling community that you can't even think of. I go to try to go to every wrestling show that I can possibly can to honor Kurt because that's what he did when he was alive.
Yep.
So,
Cool. It's been about, I think I made my debut in 2002, so it's been 20 years since I first stepped in the ring. That doesn't seem that long ago, but 20 years is 20 years, right?
yeah, and I've been going to independent pro wrestling shows since February of 2011.
That's
So
awesome. What was your first show?
my first, oh my, I'm going to disclose that because I don't want to, my first wrestling show was, I want to disclose it because if, I don't, because if I mention the company, the wrestling promotion, then I'll get all upset and whatnot. So
All right.
I'm going
Well,
to
let's move
disclose
on
it
then.
for now. I'll, I'll message you, and whatnot.
Okay. Shoot me a message and let me know later.
Yeah. Um, but I could tell you, the second wrestling promotion that I went to was Prime Time Wrestling. Oh,
Nice.
that was a good show. They put on good shows. Um, I remember Magic Man and John Johnson and Randy D, all those other guys. I remember that. Um, yeah, I had a good time at those shows. Um,
Yeah. Oh, John Johnson. He's one of my good buddies. He's a good. He's a pretty darn good wrestler. I was Ryan Bucky on those shows
hmm
at prime time. Yeah. Yep. Rennie D. Right.
Yep,
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Good guys there.
yep, yep. And my favorite matches, when John Johnson versus Randy D. That was my favorite match because, oh my God, they beat the holy hell out of each other.
Yep. Yeah.
And my other favorite match was John Johnson versus Ryan Cruz. Oh, there's a funny story I gotta tell you. And I
Okay.
don't know if Ryan Cruz is watching this, but oh my God, John Johnson was a bad guy and Ryan Cruz was a good guy.
Hmm.
So when they came out, I started rooting for John Johnson, boo Ryan Cruz. So then after that, I messaged him and I said, guess what? I booted against you. And he was like, what? It
Oh, that's
was
funny
back
stuff.
and forth. He got me good. So ever since then, every time I boo him now, now he knows. Oh, Michael Pam always boos me.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
That is good stuff. Um, so, but it's great to see you back in the ring, though. That on a serious note, because you have been away for a long time, and and
Yep. 5 years. Yeah. Yep. I appreciate it,
so
Michael. Yeah.
so um so let's talk about the negative stuff about being a pro wrestler, because being a pro wrestler means you gotta travel a lot, do this, and I think the wrestling community wants to know what's it like being on the road for so many days a week, and when it comes to traveling, working out, all that, all that jazz and whatnot.
When you're a single guy, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's actually pretty fun. once you have a family and loved ones that wait at home for you. It all depends on what your priorities are. If your priorities are raising a family and having a serious relationship, then home life calls. But yeah, but and back when I was single and traveling around with John Johnson and Aaron Corbin, um, you know, um, back in the day, that was fun stuff. We had a lot of fun times back then, and even when after I trained my brother and we trained or traveled. Around for AWF for Tony DiNucci's shows. Um, those are fun times too. Us four in a car, going to Elk River or Cambridge, or there was a couple of Wisconsin shows that we would do every year. Those were fun shows, but I um, always missed being at home. So um, at home's a good spot for me, that's for sure. But man, if wrestling comes back to the Steel County Fair next year, I can't say that I um, won't be a part of the show. That's for sure.
Hmm. So, that sums up to my next question. How did you and your brother, your twin brother, became a tag team? That's all I want. That's what I meant to
Um,
ask.
yeah, back in MPW days, my brother would always come to shows when he was able to. Um, my brother had kids when we were younger, so his son was born when we were I think 18, I think, is when my nephew was born. And then my niece was born when we were 20. So, I mean, both of his kids are grown now. But back then, duty called for him. So he was uh, he was back home being a dad and working full time plus some, you know, um, to support his kids. So when he finally was able to get away for a couple of weekends a month. Um, we kind of trained him, and it was um, yeah, we trained him and got him on shows, and he ended up working with us quite a bit with Tony DiNucci, and he helped Tony run shows, and which was real cool. Um, yeah, it was super fun to not only growing up, he and I were best friends, still are best friends, but it's fun to have um, John Johnson. I would consider a best friend, and same with Aaron. So us four in the ring together, and traveling together and being on the same shows every weekend. Fun stuff. Fun stuff, Michael. It was great. Some of the funnest times I had was the latter part of my wrestling career working for AWF. So yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, and I gotta say that I go to Tony DiNucci shows. He puts he puts on great shows.
Hmm.
Um, I can't remember the first time I went to a AWF show, but I can tell you this: um, that guy puts on great shows, and
Hmm.
he too also looks out for me. Making sure that I stay, looks out for me. Anybody, anybody who bugs me in any way, like wrestlers or ring crew. If anybody gives me a hard time, um, I just let him know. I just let him know what's on my mind, and he'll he'll take care of it. He always takes care of me. Whenever I'm at AWF shows, and that's the reason why I go there to have a good time. He also allowed me to film some of the matches too, which I'm really glad because that was it's a great opportunity. And all he said was, just wait until we put our stuff on YouTube, and then you can put your stuff on YouTube as well. And
Yep.
that and he's a fair man. And when he said that, I said, good, you got yourself a deal. That's you know,
Yep.
he
He's a
and
good
I
guy.
got good friendship, and I message him like, every now and then, which that reminds me, I gotta message him after this. So 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 now, since you're back on the wrestling scene, um, what are your thoughts about the Academy Pro Wrestling School that's out now?
Something, it's funny you bring that up because I was kind of creeping Gable Steveson. I was creeping his Instagram page last night, and I see that he is actually training at the academy. That's um, that's pretty good for the academy to have someone of his caliber at their school. So good for Ken and all those guys that came out of that school to have um, that kind of talent at that school is pretty darn good. It makes them look pretty good. So I remember coming up when I was green in the business, Ken was one of the guys that I always looked up to and would watch his matches and stuff like that. Just to see what he was doing and different things. And he's always been a pretty solid worker. So
Mhm.
good for them. Good for the academy for getting Gable Steveson there. That's for sure.
Yeah, yes, and a big shout out to the Academy Pro Wrestling School. Oh my God, Ken Anderson. Um, it's a great school. So if you ever want to be a pro wrestler, you guys, please check out that school because I'm telling you, I'm just like speechless saying that because that's an amazing school. They teach you everything you need to know and and whatnot. So shout out to the academy, you know. So my next question to you, Cody, is if it were up to you, who would you like to face in the ring next? Because you already faced Aaron Corbin. Who do you want to face next?
Um, that's a good question. Um, I don't know. And I don't even. I'd probably like to do a tag match with my brother against Aaron Corbin and John Johnson. That'd probably be fun. I'm guessing.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Also, I would like to see you in the ring with um, Eric Cannon. Oh my God.
And those were some fun matches back in the day, man. That dude likes to hit hard, that's for sure. And
I know. That's his problem. He likes to hit hard. But but like I said, you can you have heart. You have heart.
yep.
So Eric Cannon hit him hard since he likes to hit hard in the ring. Shoot.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. So um like I said, when you're not wrestling, what do you like to do on your off days? Like since when you was wrestling full time, what does Cody O'Neill likes to do on his time off?
Time away from work. I work for Hy-Vee Food Store. Right now, I am actually just got promoted. I am actually manager of store operations for the Owatonna store here in
Mhm.
town. Outside of work, I work 45, 50, 55 hours a week. Outside of that, I'd like to golf. Um, my son Caden's into golfing too, so we like to go out and swing the clubs together. Um, when my body permits it, I like to lift weights. I like to. My wife and I like to go to concerts, and I don't know. I like to drink some beers every once in a while, maybe a little bit more often than once in a while. But yeah, hang out with my wife, golf with my kid. Um, yeah, I'm kind of a simple guy, man. I don't get too wild anymore because I kind of lived it up in my 20s. So,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm gonna also tell you what I like to do when I'm not doing these interviews or not going to wrestling shows. Um, I like I go to work. Um, I work at a grocery store called Lunds and Barley's. Um, I'm at the Golden Valley store, so I've been there for gosh, 17 years.
Wow. What do you do for Lunds and Byerly's?
Uh, I am a I am a carryout and courtesy clerk. So what I do there is I bag people's groceries and I ask them if they need help carrying their groceries out. So I wheel out their groceries, put them in their vehicles, and that's about it.
That's
And then
awesome. I bet they love having you.
oh
Um,
my God, yes. Yes, I've been there for so long. That what pays the bills and whatnot, and that what gets me to go to wrestling shows and whatnot. Because being on the road every weekend, it's not cheap. It's not cheap, my man. It's
nope.
not cheap. You gotta save up. You gotta save up because I'm going to 3 wrestling shows this month, and I gotta save up some money to do that. And my late mother always told me that, Michael, if you don't like working at Lawrence and Barley's, you can always quit and do another job. And I stuck with that job for 17 years.
That's awesome. Doing anything for any amount of time doing the same thing for any amount of time is tough. But 17 years, man, good for you. That's awesome. Should be proud
I
of that.
recently, yeah, and earlier this year, I recently got a raise. I got a raise. Um, that's good. They're paying me more, but I'm going to disclose it because you know, I don't want to tell anybody, because then they'll watch this and try to take advantage of me and whatnot.
I get
So,
you. I get
um,
you.
you know, I got
Yep.
my, um, I got my little priorities and whatnot, and it's just that I just love working and whatnot. And when I'm not at work, I'm taking care of my father. He's 71 years old, so he's moving around good. He's taking me to and from work. He's actually in the other room, so
No, okay. That's
he's
awesome. Good for you.
yep, he's taking good care of me, and he wants to take me to and from work. He's actually retired now, so he wants to take care of me. Make sure that I get my needs and whatnot. And I always tell him, let him know I'm going to wrestling shows, and in case like if anything happens to me, then he knows, where I'm at and whatnot. And I post stuff on Facebook, letting people know where I'm going to be at in case like if something were to happen to me, then my immediate family you know, knows where I'm at, and that's about it. Uh,
That's cool.
oh, and also, Cody, I also love playing video games.
What's your favorite video game, buddy?
I have a whole lot of video games, mostly wrestling games. If I have to choose one, my favorite game would probably be WWE 2K22. That's my
Nice.
favorite game. And I also, too, if I have to pick another one, it would be SmackDown. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain.
Nice. Who's your favorite guy that wrestles for WWE right now? Who do you like?
Right now, I like Matt Riddle.
Oh, he's a good
Yeah,
talent. He's a good wrestler.
uh-huh. I mean, from him going from NXT, knowing, he's a nice guy and whatnot. He's like a throwback. He always got his flip flops. He doesn't wrestle in any with no wrestling boots and whatnot. So
He's a bro, right? He's a
he's a
bro.
bro and whatnot. But oh my God, lately I'm seeing a more aggressive side of him. Um, when he did that promo about the situation with Randy Orton, oh my God. I mean, that was real, man. I
Yep.
got choked up, because I never, I expected him, just be all funny and whatnot. But man, he cut a heartfelt promo, and that was, and every time, every time I see that segment, I always get choked up because that was one of my favorites. And
Yeah.
then he got he's in the feud with Seth freaking Rollins, and oh my God, I thought they were gonna kill each other.
Mm.
I thought they were gonna kill each other in the ring. So, oh my, so I can't wait until they face each other one on one tomorrow night at Clash Clash of the Titans pay-per-view.
That's tomorrow night.
Yep, that's actually that's Saturday. That's Saturday actually Saturday morning,
Oh,
you
okay.
know.
Oh, it's overseas, isn't it?
Yeah, it's overseas. It's at the UK, so
Cool.
hmm so what about you? Do you like I'm assuming you don't play video games.
I don't, not really. I'll play Madden with my son every once in a while, or goof around on GTA with him. Um, but not really.
Mhm.
I don't play video games often. I do have a I have a game that I play on my iPad called Golf Clash. I absolutely love that game. But
Mhm.
other than that, I really don't play video games. So.
Yeah. And and I could just say this too, today's graphics of the video games, oh my God, it it looks like it's realistic, how they
Yep.
make the people realistic and everything. I
Hmm.
mean, I can respect the retro video games a lot, but oh my God, everything went HD, it's almost like the real person.
Yeah, it's weird. How old are you, Michael? If you don't mind me
I
asking.
I just turned 38.
Okay, so
I
we're around the same
just
age.
turned,
I'm 42, so video games when we were kids, playing that 8-bit stuff, it's completely different now than what it was back when we were kids, right?
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you know something? And also too, my favorite game that I always play, and it's like, oh, what I really like playing, this was when I was little. it was that Family Feud game, you know,
Mm, yep.
or actually Wheel of Fortune. And
No,
I
that
got
was
this
fun too.
held hand video game, and I always played that. And I always steal it from my mom, and she would always goes, Michael, where's my game at? And I'm just sitting up here just playing that Wheel of Fortune game, Helltale game, and whatnot. Um, but oh, and I still play Wheel of Fortune on my phone
Oh, I
because
suppose you can download it on the game store,
yeah,
can't you? That's
yep, you
awesome.
can download that. That's my favorite. That was my mom's favorite game. So in the honor of her, I just downloaded the game and I get to play it. You know, oh my God, I am so good at it. I'm got what level I'm on, but I'm assuming I gotta check. I gotta check on my phone 'cause I think I'm on level 39.
That's crazy. Holy cats, that's good. Good
I
for you.
know. I know. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Um, so, do you have anything coming up, or are you just saying any wrestling shows coming up that you're interested in wrestling, or is that you just that was the one time thing on?
That's probably a one-time thing, my man. Like I said, if MAW comes back to the fair here in town, you know, I if they have me back, I'd probably wrestle again. But
What
as
town
far as
you from again? I'm sorry I'm interrupting, but what town
no,
you
that's all
from
right.
again?
I live in Owatonna, so
Orton, okay.
yep, and that's where the show was for MAW was. It was actually at the fairgrounds, and that's like 6 blocks away from my house. So, kind of funny, but yeah,
Yeah,
if they come back to town, then I'd probably wrestle again. But as far as anything else, I really don't have
yeah, yeah,
any intention of wrestling. So
yeah. And you know what? If they come back to Owatonna next year, and if you're happy to wrestle, you bet I got to be there for that. I
good
gotta be
deal,
there for that because
good deal.
all right, well, to before we wrap up this interview, um, I want to do something a little bit different. Usually, when I end interviews, I always ask people, you know, where fans can follow you, but I'll do that at the end. But I'm going to name, I'm gonna name a few wrestlers. You let me know what you think of them or not. Okay?
Cool, cool.
Sounds sounds like a plan.
We can do that.
All right, John Johnson.
Love the guy. He's like a brother to me. Um, he's been one of my ride or dies since we got in the business. We both were trained at the same time, both trained at MPW. I crashed at his house a bunch. Um, he's a great dude. He's a great dude. A lot of people might not like him, but he's he's been just like a brother to me for 20 plus years now. So he's a great dude. I love the guy.
Randy D.
Rennie D, another one of those guys that I think I was in the business for maybe about 5 years, 4 years, and then he broke in. Um, he was just a little guy back then, but um, great dude. He's a great dude, and another one of those relationships that blossomed from the wrestling business, and he and I have worked together now that he owns Fit Butters and. Um, I help out at High V, and Fit Butters and High V have a great partnership together now. He's a great dude. He works his ass off, and he deserves all of the stuff that he has coming to him. He does nothing but just grind. So he's a good dude. I've got a ton of respect for him.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Cruz.
Great dude. Another great dude. Um, back in the day when I first turned heel after making a babyface run, Aaron Corbin and I tagged against him and Darren. I struggled to get over as a heel, and it was tough back then. But he's a great dude. He was a great friend. Still is a great friend. One of the best talents in Minnesota, that's for sure. He's got, I wish I had the talent that he does. He's a good kid. So
yeah. Aaron Corbin.
I love the guy. He's like a brother. So much so that we had family pictures taken. My dad and my brother and my sister and I, and he was actually in the family picture. So he's like a little brother to me. He's always been there for me. We used to road trip. That poor guy, he paid more dues than anyone in Minnesota. He would come to wrestling shows with me. He'd set up the ring. He would referee whatever got him involved in the show. He would do. He did it the right way. He definitely earned his spot on any Minnesota show. He busts his ass. He's the best jobber in Minnesota, that's for sure. He made me look good over 250 times and never asked for anything in return except for just being my friend. So he's a good dude. I love him.
Yeah. Darren Corbin.
Darren Corbin, same boat as Ryan Cruz, man. He kind of helped rejuvenate my my wrestling career. I was a babyface for a couple of years, and then Aaron and I tagged, and we were kind of tweeners, and they were the peanut butter to our jelly. Those guys gave me a reason to come up to NPW shows every Sunday, and we ended up wrestling in Iowa against those guys. I can't remember if we wrestled in any other state, but it was always fun wrestling those guys. Nothing but respect for both of those guys. They're great dudes.
Mm-hmm. Pete Hughes.
Funny story about Pete Hughes and I. So Pete Hughes, he broke in the business a couple of years before I did. I think him and Austin Aries got in at the same time. They were, I think, in the same training camp. Either way, when I started working for NeoPro, I kind of dressed like a scrub back in those days. And then Pete Hughes, I seen how Pete Hughes dressed. He was, he dressed real preppy, and he was a really good dressed guy. So I decided to start dressing a little bit better. So then as shows went on, Pete and I were on shows almost every weekend together. So we would always have a contest to see who would be the best dressed at the shows. God, he was a fun guy to have on shows back in the day. He was fun. He was definitely fun. Him and Genuine Article too, Chris Jordan. Yeah, I loved being in locker rooms with those guys. It was fun back then. Sure, certainly was fun.
All right. That was good. I'm glad that I started this new thing here on Michael's Corner, and I think I'm gonna start doing this because that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to admit, that was really cool. And you was ready for that too. And it was impromptu. And I didn't even mention this on social media. This is great.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I cannot wait to get this uploaded so everybody can watch it. I'm sure I'm gonna get a whole lot of feedback.
Well, good deal. I appreciate you having me on, my man. And there's a bunch of people watching. Looks like we got some viewers. I got Derek Evenson. he's a kid that I used to he grew up with in the same neighborhood back in Albert Lea. How you doing, Derek? He gave us a shout out here. Looked like
Mm.
my sister was watching a little bit ago. If you're on here, Cheryl, hey, how you doing? So yeah, there's a bunch of people that were clicking in and watching us, buddy.
Oh my God! And I didn't even notice because the comments was just going fast, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't get to. I couldn't get to one of those comments. So whatnot. But I felt bad, but it's okay now. Now we're gonna wrap up this interview. So where can wrestling fans find you on social media?
You can look up Kenny Dreyling. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. If you want to see some funny promos, I do promos for the Hy-Vee Owatonna Facebook page. So if you want to see me kind of relive my promos, I do better promos for Hy-Vee than I ever did in the wrestling ring. So go to if you search Hy-Vee Owatonna on Facebook, give us a like and follow us, and you'll see some fun promos that I do for those guys over there. So
Okay. And I'll put that all in the description whenever I get a chance to. But Cody O'Neill, it was such a pleasure interviewing you tonight. Thank you for doing this. If something comes up and you want to be on Michael's Corner, let me know and we'll do this again, okay?
yeah, likewise, buddy. You think of any more questions? You wanna chat even for 10 minutes or 5 minutes and have me on? You let me know. I'll make it happen. All right, buddy. Thanks for
All
having
right.
me on. I appreciate you, Michael. You take care of yourself, buddy.
Yep, you too. Have a good night. So that was a great interview. Um, you guys, if you want to follow me on social media, um, you can find me on Facebook at Michael's Corner. On Twitter will be at Michael Pam. And on YouTube will be Michael's Wrestling Channel. Okay. That does it for this episode of Michael's Corner. You guys have a great evening, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.